Hey, what's up, Scott Balcom here with Imagination Creation Films, and today we're going to be going through 5 things that every filmmaker really needs to know, understand, and use. So we're going to go through 5 things that every filmmaker needs to know, understand, and use daily to make them a better filmmaker. But before we do, I want to go ahead and ask that you click subscribe to this channel because, we're a growing community of filmmakers and you'd be a great part of it. Also, I do have a Patreon if you wish to support me that way. I do appreciate it. All right, let's dive in. The very first thing that every filmmaker needs to know and keep in mind at all times is the rule of thirds. Now, if you don't know what the rule of thirds is, you need to divide your screen into, let's just put one up right now. I made the sound effect for me. Yeah, no. Yeah, so the rule of thirds is quite simple. We divide everything in thirds. And the reason we want to do this is because it's more natural for our eyes and the way that our brains actually work. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit science and techie, but it's natural. It's the way it is. And if your mind's not going to be blown about this one, the next one will probably do it for you. So the rule of thirds basically means we got 3 columns this way, 3 columns this way. And the reason we do that is so that we can use it as a guideline to line ourselves up. Now, I, right now, am centered inside the middle column, but I could be on the left third or the right third or the middle. But if you notice, my eye line is actually right there in the line of the top third, and my chin is typically down here at the middle third or the bottom third. The reason is it is the most natural for you as a viewer to look at something and get your attention. So if you have, say, a person who's looking off in the distance, you may put them at the right third and give them room ahead of them to actually look. Because if they're standing in this third and they're looking this way, you're going to be expecting something to come jumping out behind you because you've given them all that room back behind you for them to jump in. And you don't want to do that. So rule of thirds, horizontal, vertical, same thing. We'll go into that deeper at a later time, but that is number 1. So number 2, and this one is probably going to blow your mind. If not, you're just kind of cool and you're kind of geeky like me. Good for you. It's the Fibonacci sequence, or the golden ratio, as it's going to be referred in filmmaking. Fibonacci sequence is rather odd, but it's science. And what that is it's the previous 2 numbers added together equaling the next number and then continuing down that line. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and it just keeps on going. What that does is it creates this very, very continuously going tighter and tighter circle, and it happens in frames. So on this frame, which is right here, it's going to go like this, and it's going to keep going, and it's like you're dividing it into quarters, and then quarters, and then, you know what, let's just put up a graphic. Oh, I made the sound effect again. So if you look at this is a Fibonacci sequence, or the golden ratio, and it basically looks kind of like a snail shell, oddly enough. Remember what I said about nature? Yeah, if you really want to blow your mind, go count leaves. That's right. Fibonacci on every plant on the planet. If you go and you look at a branch, you look at a little twig coming out, there'll be X number of leaves. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and it will never be 7. It will never be 4. If you rip one off, you know what? That is not how we play science. That's how we cheat. Cheaters are for cheating. No, cheating's for cheaters. So getting back to the golden ratio, what we're trying to do is we're trying to center things on the golden ratio. So if you have like a rock and you're at a seashore and you have the horizon, put the rock in that center of that swirl at the bottom, and it will actually work better in people's minds because we're accustomed to seeing the Fibonacci sequence everywhere. It's really wild, but it's really, really good. There are many, many, many examples out there, but if you want to do a little more research, go look up the golden ratio and study it, and you will be shocked, as I am, and then go count some leaves, because that's what we do. We're nerds. So yeah, that's number 2. The third one we're going to talk about is controlling light, and that is something that so many filmmakers tend to forget. They think they can walk into a room and start shooting and it's going to look great, and it doesn't work that way, because it's going to look like you walked into a room and didn't spend any time on it. You want to control the light. That means turning off the overhead lights and adding your own light, or that means replacing those lights and adding your own light, or that means blocking off those lights, or it means blocking the sun, or it means putting up a grid overhead so that you can soften the sun. It means putting some negative fill against the face. It means adding more light back here and putting it, and all, you know what? It's really about controlling the light. You need to be the one adding the light. And the reason that you want to do that is because what happens when the sun goes down? Whoops, now our scene on the outside where the sun was blaring through, it isn't there anymore. It's now the sun's down and it's dark. So if you put a big light outside, you make your own sun, you can continue to shoot all day long. It looks exactly the same. That's controlling the light, and that will make you a better filmmaker. The fourth one, that was this many. The fourth one you want to learn is follow the rules. Now, these rules are here for a very important reason. We are very accustomed to seeing these rules used all the time. The Fibonacci, we're used to seeing it in nature. The golden ratio, we're used to seeing it in film. The rule of thirds, we're used to seeing it all the time. That's a lot of thunder. We're going to be shutting down here shortly. We're used to seeing it. It's natural. It is something that allows your viewer to immediately get sucked into it and not feel like there's anything that's off or imbalanced. So following the rules is important. The fifth one I want to talk about is know when to break the rules. When you want someone to feel off, when you want someone to feel uneasy, when you want someone motivation-wise, let's say you want them to feel like, oh, there's something from behind, break the rule. Put them facing the wrong direction. If you want them to feel small, put them low in frame. They're going to feel small to the world. If you want them to be overpowering, break them up. Break the rules when it's appropriate for the scene that you're shooting. But don't go too crazy, because people tend to go, this movie sucks because all the rules are broken. They're not feeling comfortable with it. So know when to break them, but try to follow them. So that's 5 quick things that every filmmaker needs to know, practice, learn, love, and use every day. And if you have any questions or comments, do feel free to put those in the comment section down below. I do try to read and respond to each and every one of you, just to say thank you. As always, yeah, if you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, yeah, just go ahead and give me a thumbs down. We'll still be friends. But don't forget to subscribe, because, hey, you know, I want you to be a part of this team. I do have a Patreon if you wish to support me that way. I do appreciate each and every one of my supporters. That's a lot of thunder. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passion center around your life. Let your life center around your passion.